Hello friends and welcome, I'm Mike Bermingham and this is Miscellany 18 for 2021. This week we take a look at a costly Superman comic, ask how was a helicopter once found in an Egyptian hieroglyph. We also hear part 3 of things your parents said to you back in the day and see an alien themed face mask. First to our brain teaser. This week it asks, well, a cowboy rode into town on a Friday. He stayed in town for 3 days. And he rode out on a Friday. How's that possible? The answer to come at the end. Some vintage pictures now. A rare edition of a comic in which Superman made his first ever appearance has sold recently for a record $3.25 million. It means the issue of Action Comics number 1, which sold for 10 cents when it was released in 1938, is the world's most valuable comic book. The comic includes the story of Superman's origins and is considered to be the start of the superhero genre, explaining how Superman came to Earth from another planet and went on to become Clark Kent. It's thought only around 100 copies of that particular comic still exist, whilst hundreds of thousands of copies were printed in 1938. The seller made $1 million profit. Not bad after owning it for just 3 years. The anonymous buyer was relatively new to comic investing, a term I'd never heard before. So maybe those old comics stashed in the attic are worth a few bob after all. And the car that Superman can be seen lifting on the cover of the comic was also of its time. It was bang on for the year 1938. It was a DeSoto, as seen here in this vintage advert. To worlds of mystery now. How was a helicopter once found in an Egyptian hieroglyph? Well, a hieroglyph, which is the name for the symbols used in ancient Egyptian writing, is how we interpret or know about such things. Well, it wasn't, of course, this particular picture of a helicopter. It was a misinterpretation of a glyph that was overwritten. And then part of it was broken away and it looked something like a helicopter. It was debunked decades ago, but it's still popular with those who like to make up those kind of conspiratorial or silly stories. This picture shows 2 separate inscriptions that were placed in the same location at different times, the first being covered over and a new one placed on top of it. So whilst some have claimed the hieroglyphs are of the out-of-place artifacts depicting a helicopter as well as other examples of modern technology, this claim was dismissed by Egyptologists who highlight this pareidolia is partly based on widely retouched images that remove key details from the actual carvings. So pareidolia is the tendency for some observers to see things in everyday objects that perhaps aren't there. Like this eye, covered in suds, which isn't an eye, it's just a sinkhole draining away. Some nostalgia from Ireland now. Happy first day of the Celtic summer, May the 1st, Bealtaine. It means we're about halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Historically, it was widely observed throughout Ireland, Scotland and the Isle of Man. Bealtaine is mentioned in some of the earliest Irish literature and is associated with important events in Irish mythology. It marked the beginning of summer and it was when cattle were driven out to their summer pastures. Also, rituals were performed to protect cattle, crops and people and encouraging growth as well. Special bonfires were kindled and their flames, smoke and ashes were deemed to have protective powers. The people and the cattle would walk around or between bonfires and sometimes leap over the flames or embers. All household fires would be doused and then relit from the Bealtaine bonfire. Doors, windows, byres and livestock would be decorated with yellow May flowers, perhaps because they evoked fire. Holy wells were also visited, while Bealtaine Dew was thought to bring beauty and maintain youthfulness as well. And many of the customs are part of the May Day or Midsummer festivals in other parts of Great Britain and Europe as well as Ireland. Some events back in time include May 1st, 1854, songwriter, entertainer and painter Percy French is born in County Roscommon. One of his many famous songs is The Mountains of Mourne That Rolled Down to the Sea. May the 2nd, 1923, the birth in Milltown, Malbay, County Clare of Patrick Hillary, a surgeon, politician and former president from 1976 to 1990. He negotiated Ireland's entry into the European Community in 1973. 2003, the Rolling Stones set a new Irish box office record when more than 16,000 tickets for their Dublin concert sell within 2 minutes. May 3rd, 1999, RTE launches their 24-hour classic music station, Lyric FM. May 4th, 1836, the Ancient Order of Hibernians is founded in America in New York City. May 6th, 1947, singer Paul Brady is born, and May 7th, 1915, the Lusitania is sunk by a German U-boat off the Old Head of Kinsale, County Cork, with the loss of 1,100 lives. From David Pash now, who posted on the Facebook page Dublin in the 60s and 70s, the final part 3 of things your parents said to you, perhaps in the 60s and 70s, and you swore you'd never say to your own kids. I think we still say a few of these. You can like it or lump it. Oh, it's just growing pains. Because I said so. Santa Claus is watching you. Do you want to get a bag of coal for Christmas morning? Jeez, Mary and Joseph. Wash your hands, you could grow spuds under those nails. You get that from your father. Make sure you're wearing clean underwear in case you get hit by a car. Why? That's the why. When you break your legs, don't come running to me. I'm going to count to 3, and then... you're making a holy show of me. What time do you call this? And take a good look in the mirror, why don't you? Now, Mike's Miscellany Special News Bulletin. Medical experts in London today were asked if it's time to ease the COVID-19 lockdowns. Allergists were in favour of scratching it, but dermatologists advised not to make any rash moves. Gastroenterologists, meanwhile, had a sort of gut feeling about it. But neurologists thought the government lacked the nerve. Obstetricians felt certain everyone was labouring under a misconception, whilst ophthalmologists considered the idea short-sighted. Many pathologists yelled, "Over my dead body!" while paediatricians said, "Oh, grow up!" Psychiatrists thought the whole idea was madness, while radiologists could see right through it. Surgeons decided to wash their hands of the whole thing, and pharmacists claimed it would be a bitter pill to swallow. Plastic surgeons opined that this proposal would put a whole new face on the matter. Podiatrists thought it was a step forward, but urologists thought the whole idea was as bad as a bladder infection. Anaesthetists thought the whole idea was a gas, and cardiologists, they didn't have the heart to say no. In the end, the proctologists won out, leaving the entire decision up to the politicians in government to work out. And now, video. Here's a clip that could be taken right out of a police chase drama on TV, except this is all too real. And they did catch the fast and the furious wannabe driver in the end, proving you cannot escape the long arm of the law. Now, I'm a big fan of the Alien movie franchise or series, so I wouldn't mind getting one of these.
So Dad made this mask, and it is absolutely insane. He did such a good job. It's leather, handmade, each piece. Did he not do a killer job? Oh, so good.
As long as it's a face mask, mind, the fictional facehuggers, well, they can keep their distance. There's always this option, but I think that would be a resounding no from me. Now to a mind-bending picture. I have, like a lot of people, a soft spot in my heart for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but I'm not sure I would go as far as this fan has, with an exceptional but bizarre tattoo. Oompa loompa doopa dee doo, I've got another puzzle for you. Our brain teaser answer: a cowboy rides into town on a Friday, staying 3 days and leaving on Friday. How is this possible? Well, it turns out the answer is the name of his horse. His horse was named Friday. Pass it on if you worked it out. Now to the final word, quote, or affirmation, words of comfort and inspiration. In a society that has you counting money, pounds, calories, and steps, be a rebel and count your blessings instead. That, from Lisa Heckman. It's a great idea we can but try to put into practice. So a couple of things I've found of interest over the last several days. Hope you found some of them interesting also. If you've any thoughts, do leave a comment below. Any suggestions for inclusion? I'd love to hear from you as well. Look out for one another until we talk next time. Be safe and be well, and bye for now.
From the home studio of Michael Bermingham.